Hello and welcome to our viewers here in Nigeria and of course all around the world. This is Firecrackers, where we discuss issues of national interest. We also get to engage the major players in the game of politics. I am Kelly Egiga. We are live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria, and on the show today we will take a look at Mr. President's speech. After calls from Nigerians in Nigeria and Nigerians outside Nigeria, as well as the international community, for the president to make that nationwide broadcast. He has finally done that, but then it has again generated a lot of reactions and talking points, as people are even wondering if that speech was good enough, or has it even done more damage for the presidency? And then we've had issues of palliatives across many states in Nigeria, where residents and hoodlums and thugs have looted these palliatives, which have been stored, or which were stored in warehouses for reasons best known to the various state governments. We'll get to explore that as well on the show. I have guests here in Lagos, I have guests in Calabar, the Cross River State Capital, as well as Awka, the Anambra State Capital, and Abuja, Nigeria's capital. This in just a moment. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Well, thanks for staying with us. This is Firecrackers, and we're live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria, and wherever you're watching us around the world. Now, let's begin here in Lagos. I understand a retired colonel is standing by to speak with us, Hassan Stanlabo. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak with Galaxy TV. Colonel Hassan, retired, if you can hear me loud and clear. Well, you are a military veteran, and let's even begin with the rules of engagement as a retired military officer. Talk us through the major rules of engagement. Well, as it relates to when to use the arms, and particular arms, because we understand as regards the NSAS movement and the shootings, though the military has described it as fake news, we understand that 7.62 armor was used on civilians. So we just want to find out, for a background to start with, just the rules of engagement.
It's okay. In such situations where it has to with the of riot, please can you correct there is a technical issue there.
Okay, we'll see how we can fix that.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Almost expected that when the ground, at least then to won the crowd. That wasn't done in the case. And on situation as this, we have to bear in mind that you engage the crowd with kinetic measures, and your kinetic under this present situation, to be frank with you, words of persuasion, all right, some humility on the parts in part of all from government officials would have been able to avoid the situation before we get to the problem. And when you move in troops there, There are other options that could be used. I expected things like engaging with water. All these are options. Besides, it is important to understand the are facing. I think be fair to the youth. The crowd, I wouldn't describe them as your ruling. Okay? So I expected a situation where I appeal to them. This is a crowd. Doctors, lawyers, engineers. For the past 12 days or so, they have, and let's face it, the national even singing the national anthem, so on. If I were an officer commanding that, frankly, I would demand that is if I didn't come with one, and I would talk to them like fellow Nigerians, appeal to their conscience, understand that it is important.
Sorry to interrupt you, because we have to round off our communication as soon as possible, but maybe you probably need to talk us through the consequences of these particular shootings. As you've rightly said, videos have emerged, especially from the international community, where Nigerians were seen holding the Nigerian flag, singing the national anthem, and yet they were shot. What are the consequences as we look at the impact of the #EndSARS protest or movement? What are the security consequences of these particular shootings? And then again, we'll get to hear your first-hand thoughts about the fact that the Nigerian military describes all of what played out as fake news.
In the first place, I see the entire act as an insult to our citizenship. And if the army is saying that they were not, or they are not responsible for what happened, I don't doubt them. I would want to take them. But it is important that by virtue of that exonerate themselves, it gives room for a great deal of national security concern. Why am I saying that? It is me as far as that we are, as a nation, right, having a team of armed, we cannot identify, residing amongst us, carrying out lines of action not in the interest of it therefore means that we have to fish them out. What is our intelligence community doing? Is that also a failure of? Because let's face it, even before the first day of the, I already expect that the community would keep this, do an analysis of what this, and advise government appropriately. So I see a failure of intelligence here.
Well, stay with us. When we come back, we'll get to take your first-hand reaction to Mr. President's nationwide broadcast, and then we'll also get to talk about the ways forward. All of that in just a moment. Wherever you're watching us from around the world, this is Firecrackers, and we are live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria. Our focus for the first part of our discussion is the hashtag EndSARS protest. We're looking at the political, security, and economic impact of that particular protest. All of that in just a moment. We also understand that the families of those who lost a member or two who were probably protesters are also grieving and mourning. It's a very, very difficult time to be a Nigerian. That's in a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So-called protesters had invaded an international airport and in the process disrupted the travel plans of fellow Nigerians and our visitors. All this executed in the name of the EndSARS protests. I am indeed deeply pained that innocent lives have been lost. These tragedies are uncalled for and unnecessary. Certainly, there is no way whatsoever to connect these bad acts to legitimate expression of grievance of the youth of our country. The spreading of deliberate falsehood and misinformation through the social media in particular, that this government is oblivious to the pains and plight of the citizens is a ploy to mislead the unwary within and outside Nigeria into unfair judgment and disruptive behavior. On the contrary, both our deeds and words have shown how committed this administration has been to the well-being and welfare of citizens, even with the steadily dwindling revenues and the added responsibilities and restrictions due to the coronavirus pandemic. Government has put in place measures and initiatives principally targeted at youth, women, and the most vulnerable groups in our society. These included our broad plan to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years.
Where they shout from, I no get joy, I no get joy. You can't be killing my brothers and sisters. I left them behind to fight Boko Haram. You can't be killing them and you want me to have joy. I don't have joy in this country. Whatever the youth are doing, I'm in support of them. Life and direct. Be you who. I no get joy for this town. I'm a soldier, but I can't support bad thing. I can't support bad thing. You can't kill my brothers. You can't kill my brother. I'm here fighting Boko Haram. You can't kill my brothers that are left behind. You can't kill my family.
My advice goes to every fellow soldier. Okay, you guys should not be fooled, don't be used. We are the youth. The fight that the civilian fighting is our fight. Do not let them use us. I know where you are. Most especially the advice goes to the new people in the system. I'm talking about the 1990 and the 2090. And mostly they will use you guy. For this struggle, they will deploy you. As I'm hearing the rumor that they want to deploy some soldiers to chase away, maybe to scare the protester. You guys should remember, even though you were deployed, eventually you deploy. Remember that if you eventually take any unlawful order and you fire civilian people you're firing, remember the bullet may go and hit your brother or your sister. And remember, this fighting that these people are fighting is just our fight. Because if Nigeria is okay, nobody will fly out of the country. Remember how many soldiers have leave this job, run to Dubai, run to different part of the country for seeking for greener pasture. And how much are they paying you as a private soldier? Maybe private soldier is 50,000, last corporal 55,000, and so on like that. You know, you yourself say this fight is our fight, and if things is okay in the country and if every soldier is well paid, civilian is well paid, things are going on, nobody will like want to fly out of this country. The foreigner, they will be like trying to come to our country, not we trying to go to other country. I urge every one of you, every soldier seeing this, listening to this, please do not let us be fooled. Remember what happened in Sudan when the president called the soldiers.
Thanks for staying with us wherever you're watching from around the world. We are live from our studios here in Lagos. This is Firecrackers, where we engage our major players in the game of politics. We have Colonel retired Stan Lambo Hassan with us. Colonel Hassan, let's get to talk about Mr. President's speech for a moment. Has that nationwide address done more damage than good?
That speech to me was completely an empty speech. The president did not speak to the issue. He did not appeal to the emotions of the youth. Okay? Mr. President was completely silent on the Lekki issues or the Lekki incident. Right? He did not express. There was a disconnect in that speech which he offered. Right? Disconnect between the speech and the it did not meet the expectations of the speech. Yes, it was long in reference, very short on action. Right? Unfortunately, I must say this: on speech writers did not do a good work in him. Under a situation as this, it's expected that the president's speech would touch and penetrate. Frankly speaking, have good speech writers. Forget whatever qualification they can. They do not know how to. A president to its is lacking. The speech, as far as I'm concerned, when he finished delivering that speech, I was asking myself, what? Why was I running up and down and listening to the president? It was an opportunity for him and talk to these boys, appeal to the various segments, calm down now. We see you to be very much in charge. didn't see all this in, and it is the fault of the speech. Because while all this is going on, I expect him to sit down and be calling a very powerful speech for the president. And when you give it to him, he now does it. I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. Then you take what and reframe it up. That wasn't a president.
Colonel Stan, while you blame the script writers probably, do you also think that there's probably a disconnect between our Nigerian leaders and the people? Are they cut off from the realities on ground?
Do we still ask such questions? It's not glaring that we have always had in this country leadership. I'm not looking at this administration. I'm looking at the fact we suffered the same thing in the last administration. Before then, we suffered the same thing. We have never been blessed with leadership. And unfortunately, I'm surrounded by boosters. Everybody is protecting his job. The president is never giving a true picture of it. That is it. You don't expect the president to do this one. But I expect that when him, they present a clear picture. That is it. The president could have addressed this country before the whole of this rubbish started. That could have cooled down us. Here we are. Look at the activities that have got in terms of. You think, when do you think we can recover from it? We are not doing well in terms of revenue.
Yes, Colonel. Colonel, because we're absolutely pressed for time. I think in over about 15 states out of 36, curfews have been declared, including Lagos, including Cross River State, Jos, and the likes, Delta, and so on. Curfews have been declared. You are a military veteran. What exactly is going on in terms of the security, the state of the security across Nigeria?
The governors are just trying to see how they are bringing whatever engine they have, crisis management, to bear on this. And the best way is to see how movement of people around. That's just it. The security agencies, the people are so scared to carry out any action. So even when you throw them into the streets, they act so much caution. So we have to help the people and say we must now take the situation into account and make sure that attention that, so that those in position of power to be able to oversee the system. Otherwise, they are overwhelmed. We must assist them.
Colonel Stan Lambo, would like to thank you so much for speaking with Galaxy TV.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
We'll be speaking with a retired Colonel, Hassan Stan Lambo. It's been very interesting having that chat with him. This is Firecrackers. We have more for you in just a moment, as across Nigeria there have been loot upon loot about over palliatives which were probably meant for the common Nigerian. What exactly were those palliatives doing in storehouses? That's in a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, thanks for staying with us. This is Firecrackers, and just earlier we spoke to Colonel Hassan Stan Labo, a retired colonel, and we had to look at the shootings in Lekki precisely. We had to look at the political and security impact of that particular shooting. We are live in Abuja in just a moment. We're trying to see how we can gain connection to our guests then Abuja as well as Calabar, the Cross River State capital, all of that in just a moment as we switch over and talk about the issue of palliatives. Residents across Nigeria invaded warehouses and looted COVID-19 palliatives, of course, which were probably meant for the common Nigerian. I mean, it's been trendy. There are videos, a lot of videos on social media where you've seen people cutting away with COVID-19 palliatives and all of that. We'll get to look at this particular issue, which is on ground now across many states, in Jos, in Cross River, and even here in Lagos. I mean, no wonder there was an alleged attack on the Oba of Lagos, where it was discovered that a particular warehouse, I think close to where he is or where he controls, was also looted, and a lot of palliatives discovered there. We know that a lot of Nigerians are not happy because something that the government should have done more. We also remember that the Minister of Human Affairs or Humanitarian Affairs, Sadi Omar Farouk, had said that Nigeria spent a lot of money amounting to billions of naira for palliatives, and a lot of persons did not benefit from all of that. Well, some did. There were videos of people praising the government, but on the other hand, a lot of Nigerians also did not benefit from these palliatives. All of that in just a moment. We have one or two persons who are eyewitnesses, observed what happened in some of their states, and they're willing to talk to us. We have Chukwuma Nwoko live from Awka, Anambra State, who also witnessed a particular situation there in that state. I must mention that Anambra is controlled by ABGA, not APC, not PDP, but yet warehouses were discovered in that particular state, and residents had to loot and make away with a lot of food items particularly. But all of that in just a moment. This is Firecrackers. Join us again.
They will help you.
Are they? Because what happened there is sheer robbery, daylight robbery. I got to know about this thing about 10 minutes to 12 that some guys were gathering around the house, and first thing that came to my mind was to call the operation post. They are meant to serve as empowerment for the constituency, which is about 11 local governments. What we have here, we have close to 230 Hero and Bajaj, and we are expecting more. So that, as a matter of fact, the occasion was supposed to come up on the 6th of November. So for this, the current thing going on in the country now, we are still thinking of maybe shifting it forward to allow for 10%. Apart from the television, I mean, the motorcycles, we have almost about 130 generators there. They are all coming. We have over 230. What we have here on the ground is not up. It's up to 25. Grinding machines, you cannot count. If you look at the back there, you have to see the patterns of freezers.
I just want to implore an appeal to those perpetrators that Oyo State is known to be peaceful, and we will not tolerate any form of sabotage, any form of thuggery, any form of destruction. So we believe in engagement. We'll continue to engage them, but they and our parents and our community leaders should also join the crusade, join the evangelism of appealing to our children who are living in their communities, in their houses, that they should embrace peace for your states to grow.
So-called protesters had invaded an international airport and in the process disrupted the travel plans of fellow Nigerians and our visitors. All this executed in the name of the End SARS protests. I am indeed deeply pained that innocent lives have been lost. These tragedies are uncalled for and unnecessary. Certainly, there is no way whatsoever to connect these bad acts to legitimate expression of grievance of the youth of our country. The spreading of deliberate falsehood and misinformation through the social media in particular, that this government is oblivious to the pains and plight of the citizens is a ploy to mislead the unwary within and outside Nigeria into unfair judgment and disruptive behavior. On the contrary, both our deeds and words have shown how committed this administration has been to the well-being and welfare of citizens, even with the steadily dwindling revenues and the added responsibilities and restrictions due to the coronavirus pandemic. Government has put in place measures and initiatives principally targeted at youth, women, and the most vulnerable groups in our society. These included our broad plan to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years.
Well, thanks for staying with us. This is Firecrackers, a bit of the internet issues and connectivity and all of that. But we're live now in Awka, the Anambra State capital, where we have a public affairs analyst standing by to speak with us, Chukwuma Unwoko. Well, Chukwuma, thank you so much for agreeing to speak with Galaxy TV. Let's talk about this era of looting palliatives from warehouses across Nigeria. You witnessed one in Awka where you are. Tell us exactly what you saw.
All right, thank you very much, Kelly. Good evening to you, and thank you for having me in your program. Actually, first of all, I want to express my empathy with those that lost their lives in the Becky shooting the other day. With this palliative of it, Kelly, I really want to say that I'm highly disappointed. I've never seen a crowd like this before. I think the last time I saw a crowd like this should be in a convocation and a matric like that. That's a ceremony. But this time around, I saw almost, will I call it 1.5? I can't describe the number I saw, the multitude I saw, all going for palliative. And one funny thing is that, Kelly, if you watch out, you ask yourself, why is it that this palliative, this come for palliative is coming across the country, across the issue? But why I was trying to take, I told you I was sending some pictures. That's why I called you. But I said, I was trying to imagine what is happening. During COVID-19, these things were sent to people to help them cushion the effect of hunger in the country. But our government, instead of sharing these things, decided to hold it. In Awka here, when it was discovered, the other day I went on Facebook, I was like a joke, I said, please, if you know where the palliative is, don't tell me, let me go. And like, please. People told me it's in Agwoka somewhere in Awka. And the funniest thing is that they use military men and policemen to actually safeguard that place. And when people got there, they could not break in. They were transferring the palliatives into lorry and trying to take them to another place. I tried to investigate to know what is happening. They said that it's actually for flood victims. Tell me, if you remember, COVID-19 actually hit everybody. It cut across. Even I myself was affected by this COVID-19. So I see no reason why they should tell me that this COVID-19 system is actually meant for blood victims. It should be meant for everybody here in Awka.
Now, Chukwuma, sorry to interrupt you, Chukwuma. Yes, sorry to interrupt you, if I may. But so the residents actually. Was there a clash between the security agents there and the resident?
I can hear you.
Was there a clash between the resident of Awka and the security agents who were trying to transfer those palliatives from the warehouse to the truck? Okay,
Kelly, you should know that these men, that security operatives were all armed. Of course, they were. When you meet hungry citizens outside trying to get something that belongs to them and security forces are actually guarding it with gun, what do you expect then? You should expect that the security men are not just there to watch. And they did not go there on their own accord. They were actually sent by
also,
they were clashes. As a result of that, the people became angry and violent. I'm not in support of that, but they started destroying the state government property. In fact, I was not happy with that.
Yes, but confirm for us, Chukwuma, just a moment, confirm for us the security agents on ground that you saw.
What did you say?
Confirm for us the security agencies on ground that you saw.
Yes.
Confirm for us the security agencies. Is it the Nigerian police or the army or the DSS or NSCDC?
Policemen were there, military men were there, the NSCDC was there.
Okay. Yes. Just one final question. I also saw in those pictures you were with some items in your hand, so you probably benefited from the loot. Is that it? Is that true?
Kelly, those things were not mine. I saw people with that, and I just decided for people to know that these things were real. I tried to snap. If you check the one I was sending you, see the person that owns it with it. They are not mine.
So you
just for
you didn't benefit from you didn't benefit from the palliatives or the looted palliatives. You probably got there late or something.
Telling my brother, I think you know me, person. I don't have that size.
Okay.
I don't have that money.
All right, Chukwuma, I would like to thank you so much for bringing us first-hand eyewitness account from Awka, the Anambra State capital. Thank you so much for speaking with Galaxy TV.
All right, thank you very much. What?
All right, so it's an era where palliatives are being looted across many parts of the country. But we are live right now in Abuja, the nation's capital, where Ario is standing by. Ario Daria Atoye, a co-convener of Center for Liberty. He joins us live via Skype from the nation's capital. Ario, thank you so much for agreeing to speak with Galaxy TV. It's been a very, very interesting time and moment. What a time to be Nigerian. These are very interesting times indeed, by the way, Ario. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this evening, live from the nation's capital. But just before we get to talk about the palliative, let me even get to hear your views about the whole Lekki incident, the shootings where the Nigerian army has described as fake, even when there have been videos, especially from, which has even gone as far as the international community. What's your reaction to this? And if you may, also tell us, talk us through the role the social media played in this particular incident.
Lekki incident is real. Thank you. Everybody has seen it, including the videos that have come out of that very incident. I think what we are seeing is that the authorities are afraid. The leadership of the Nigerian military is afraid, and probably also the people in Lagos State are also afraid of talking about the leadership. They are afraid simply because petitions have gone out to the International Criminal Justice. Petitions have gone out to different international bodies, and they believe that they could actually, at a minimum, get visa ban from global sanctions. That is why they are trying to do everything to introduce this information and also to undermine the credibility of the videos and information from the tragic Lekki shooting, Lekki massacre. Gradually, people are piecing the pieces together, and we've seen a situation whereby we've seen mothers now coming out to the fact that they lost loved ones. We've seen more evidence, we've seen more information. Now that we're having this, the people that spread this propaganda are trying to up their games in terms of also numbers. So at every point in time, they are shooting vocals. The review ordinarily should be about who sent the unknown soldiers, who switched off the light, and some of those people, they don't want to do this review. They don't want Nigerians to ask questions. And it is not nothing like this is done anywhere in the world. So, like I said, it is real. And the international community did not just speak. They have also reviewed the videos and also credible news from what happened that very tragic day in Lekki. And I believe that the days ahead also will prove interesting. This has done a good job in revealing everything that transpired. People have been to up their videos, upload their comments, and of course, all of these are going to prove very vital when cases associated with the Lekki incident and other incidents nationwide will definitely be reviewed. So I believe that those who are trying to pass this information are doing a great disservice to not just to the country but to humanity. And it's important that the government desist from sponsoring this propaganda and disinformation and face the reality of what actually happened in Lekki. And that's the way we can get justice. They should come forward with how to mitigate the pains and how to sympathize with the families affected, including those who were shot. Not that we should be querying people who got injured and be asking them some funny questions like the former governor of Lagos did. That how did you get there? What were you doing? All manner of very tragic questions. And I don't think the leadership has learned anything at all from the events of the past 14, 15 days. It is a gradual development
if you can hear me loud and clear, if you can hear me loud and clear, I'm sorry to interrupt you because we're pressed for time. We have to move very, very quickly. Just before we talk about the political impact of all of this that played out in the past 2 weeks, especially from October 3, when a viral video circulated all over social media about the killings of someone in Uheli community in Delta State. Let's even talk about the NSAS protesters and movement. What exactly is the fate of the movement and protesters?
Well, let me say this, that it's a movement really, but not a movement that is defined by a kind of a structure that people really see. The movement itself is defined by the agitations and the concerns of Nigerians who are both direct and indirect casualties of years and years of police brutality, including police victimization and killings that we've seen across different ends, the SARS zone in the country. The movement has come to stay until there is justice. It is a movement that is owned by Nigerians, especially concerned Nigerians, who are directly and indirectly affected. It is not necessarily about having a sort of organic leadership. The leadership is in the request that people have made in terms of governments, showing or demonstrating responsibility. So, what I've also heard that some people are trying to put the team together to be able to probably respond to government. I'm not opposed to it. However, whatever any group or movement in terms of names of individuals that are put together, the concerns are more than that organized names that people are likely to put forward. So, NSAS will continue. People will continue to demand justice. It's now a global affair. So it's not going to be something that's limited to Nigeria. But now you can see that demonstrations are still going on globally.
Okay, Ario, maybe before we talk about the issue of palliatives, which is it's also trending at the moment, maybe in 60 seconds, if you may, talk us through the political impact of the hashtag NSAS protesters or protests.
Oh, thank you very much. I would like to say and speak directly to members of the ruling elite. What we have seen in the last couple of days is like a yellow card to members of this ravenous ruling elite. It is a semi-final to the day of age which will come if they don't do the needful. The ruling elite have lost the capacity to govern this nation, and they've lost the capacity to bring about good governance. Except we restructure Nigeria and back on fundamental reform, we will not be able to regain this country. Like in the local parlance, they will say, don't mature. The bad boys have matured. The neglected, dejected youth who have been confined to hopelessness have matured. They are more in number than what the state is thinking. So the politicians today should probably be thinking about having an emergency meeting between the president and 32 state governors and leadership of the National Assembly for them. How to move forward.
Ario Dari Atoye would like to thank you so much. That's a good place to anchor our conversation because we are pressed for time. I'm afraid we have to let you go. Thank you so much for speaking with us at this time.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be speaking with the co-convener of Center for Liberty, Ario Dari Atoye. We are live in Calabar in just a moment as we have a BA Dogu standing by to speak with us. That's in a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Why am I here?
Number one.
To commensurate with the government and sympathize with those victims through him. Seek his permission to visit some of those victims if they are still there in the hospital. Since he made the announcement to assume the responsibility for payment and all this, how can we do and what can we do to help him, to give the support?
We were told that you were in London, you were in Paris. When did you return?
I didn't go nowhere. I'm in Lagos. And I still hold the title of Asiwaju of Lagos.
Oh my God.
And I'm still a Jagaban.
This is Firecrackers. Let's cross over live now to Calabar, the Cross River State capital, where a political analyst is standing by to speak with us, Abie Dogu. Abie, thank you so much for speaking with us. We are really pressed for time, but we can probably engage your views for a couple of minutes, if we can. If you can hear me loud and clear, what exactly is the situation in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, at the moment? Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead. Can you confirm for us some of the buildings or institutions that were attacked? I gather that INEC and a few offices were affected. Can you confirm for us some of the major institutions or buildings that were attacked and looted? Well, unfortunately, it appears that we have lost connection with Abie Dogu from Calabar, the Cross River State capital, but we understand there is a curfew in that particular state because the security situation there is something really terrible from our findings and our eyewitnesses on ground, eyewitness accounts. People have said that there have been a lot of shootings and all of that, but I wish we could have that conversation with Abie. Unfortunately, we have lost the connection, but that's where we get to leave our conversation for today on the show. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We'll be back next week, Sunday. I am Kelly Egiga.